All right, ready? I'm Merida.
I'm Elyse, and this is your 20s. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. We have a very special guest, and this is a very impromptu episode here today. But those are the best kind of episodes, I think. Yeah. So today we have Bradley Kim. Say hi to the fans. Hello. We got two cameras, so we'll be like going back and forth here. Hi. But just to kind of give a background a little bit on you, I'll let you tell more about yourself. But you are a full-time musician with an angelic voice. Okay, so by the end of this episode, you guys are gonna hear him sing. So that'll be a big treat for you guys. But great voice. We actually just met a couple minutes ago, about 30 minutes ago, and just kind of debriefed. But he actually came over to my house because he's really good friends with my mom's best friend, Danielle. So shout out Danielle for making this happen. He is also in the Air Force Academy. He'll be a senior on the was a football player. And then from Seattle/Hawaii area, and also a behavioral science major. Yeah. So a lot going on there. So just kind of, I know I kind of did a debrief, but tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I'm the youngest of 5 siblings. Like I said, I'm from Seattle, Washington. Kind of grew up there and spent a lot of my childhood just there. And in the summers, we go to Hawaii all the time. That's where my extended family is. I played sports growing up. Like all my siblings played sports and whatnot, and I always kind of gravitated towards football. And I always told myself that I was going to go somewhere with football because it was kind of my passion in life. And then one day, it was end of my junior year, and this girl asked me to go to prom with her, which is going to be funny in a little bit. But so we have a ukulele at home, and this girl's like really good at like music and stuff. She's like Beethoven on the piano. She does vocal jazz and stuff like that. And she wanted me to go to prom with her. And I don't know if all of you guys have like the tradition where the guy has to ask the girl in some creative way or whatever. But I decided to learn how to play ukulele and sing to her. And I had not ever sang before that. And I sang to her. They thought it was good when I did it. Looking back at it now, I was kind of trash at it, but I enjoyed it. So
that's such a good way to ask someone. Like, if I could go back to high school and someone sang to me, like, come on, you can't beat that. So you were like, in that moment, you were like, wait, I can hold a tune, a pitch. Not so much.
It was all right.
But you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It was a really fun process.
So you didn't do choir, band, anything?
No, I didn't.
In high school?
Nope.
That was your first musical experience?
Yep.
Okay, once you guys hear his voice, you guys are going to be like, are you serious? Like,
she's lying.
Are you kidding me?
She's lying.
So good. Okay, so that's really cool. That was your junior year of high school.
Yep. And
then now, fast forward, I guess, tell me a little bit about your music career since then, and like what kind of started you. I know you have a partner in all of this. I'll let you explain how you met him.
Yeah.
And then where you are now with it.
Yeah. So my music career kind of started from there. At the end of my junior year, I kind of made an Instagram account and posted a bunch of covers. Like I said, again, they were trash when I thought they were good at the time, but they weren't. Which is kind of cool to look back and be like, oh, I was like, look how far I've come. But I basically only did like covers and stuff like that for the next 2 or so years. And then my freshman year at the Air Force Academy, I met who is now one of my best friends, Caleb Naylor, who I make and release all my music with right now.
Shout out.
Yeah, so we met in a stairwell at the Air Force Academy. He was just singing one day in the stairwell, and I was having a crappy day, so I just went up to him and was like, hey, can I just sit and listen to you? And he said, yeah, and he just sang, and then eventually it became a normal thing where we'd go out in the stairwell and just sing together. We were those guys. But yeah, that's how our great friendship and like working relationship was established. And from there, I think it was either December or January, he kind of got into production. He bought like a bunch of equipment and whatnot.
Okay.
And then we kind of started playing around with producing rather than just singing covers and like maybe writing a few acoustic songs here and there. And then it was last summer, almost a year ago today. I think it was July 23rd. That was the when I released my first single, The Middle, last summer. And then from there, we found out we could work and not be in the same place. Zoom is a great thing. We use Zoom to do like co-writes, and then we produce them together. Like we'll send stuff back and forth to each other, which is really cool. And honestly, the quarantine has been a blessing in disguise because it's given me a lot of time to just write and make a lot of stuff and send it to him. And I think we've put out 3 songs since quarantine, which doesn't sound like a lot.
No.
But it kind of is.
A song takes so much. I don't think people realize you don't just sit down and write a song and release it the next day. Like, production is real. Mixing, mastering, coming up with lyrics, it's a whole process. That's 3 songs, that's a lot. That's awesome.
It takes a long time. And then we have like, I think 3 or 4 others in the works. I got one coming out next Wednesday. That one's actually with another friend of mine, Drew. I actually met Drew through Caleb as well. So everything I do is through Caleb, I guess.
Shout out Caleb. I love it. I want to meet Caleb now. Is he in Indy?
No, he's in California. He's stationed at Vandenberg, which is
just a hop and a step away. You know?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. That's awesome though. Yeah. And I think like, especially like, goes for anyone in their 20s, like the time will come when you like meet the right person and sit down and buckle down and work on your passions. And like that's such a beautiful thing. Like take advantage of that time when it comes. You know, like I was telling Bradley before the episode, I'm kind of still like waiting to meet a producer that has the same vision as I do with music and where I want to go with it. And that's going to be the biggest blessing in my life. And of course I've met amazing producers and amazing musicians who I've worked with, but I have yet to find like a partner in that. Yeah. So that's beautiful that you guys have, stuck it out and kept going with it for a whole year now. Like it's awesome.
It's kind of crazy too because I, for a lot of different reasons, almost did not go to the Air Force Academy. One of them being music, and then there are other few ones, other kind of big reasons why I didn't want to go there. But in the end, I like made the decision. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go. And then within the first few months, I met Caleb, and I was like, yeah, I'm really glad I came here.
That's awesome. Things happen for a reason. I believe that. I will believe that till the day I die. Like, things happen for a reason. For sure.
Got Jeremiah 29:11 tattooed to my
There you go. I don't know what that verse is, to be honest. I'm sure it has something to do with it.
It's for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future, which I basically interpret as like everything kind of happens for a reason. There's a greater plan through everything that happens in your life. All the people you meet, all the things that happen to you, like I believe that everything is happening for a reason.
Yes. I love it. That's awesome. Cool. Well, okay, just kind of transition. This is like, I didn't even know this before you walked in my house about yourself. He's like, okay, so something happened 2 years ago, where my name was kind of known. And I was like, no way. What is it? Tell me. I was like, is it a good thing, a bad thing? He's like, a good thing. I was like, okay, you're going to tell me? He's like, no, you can look it up online. I'm like, okay, fine.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, I guess that is, you can't really just say that in a sentence. But for those who don't know, Bradley became the first openly gay active football player in the Air Force Academy 2 years ago. So he came out on Instagram, right? That was an Instagram post and blew up on Twitter, Instagram. Who was like all the news stations were hitting you up, and you said New York Times and stuff like that, or
so I made it on the Washington Post. Okay. I think I'm pretty sure it made it on New York Times. I'm not 100% sure, but it made it on a bunch
I saw LA Times had an article as well.
It made it on a bunch of big publications, which was kind of cool. And I got reached out to by Anderson Cooper and Megyn Kelly and a few other people that wanted to put me on a show and whatnot, but I turned them down at the time.
Yeah, so tell me kind of like why. Well, first of all, what that process was like coming out, especially at the Air Force Academy, and obviously, what the reaction was from your team, and then why, I guess, you turned down those opportunities.
Yeah, so it was kind of an interesting process. So I didn't actually come out to anybody until the end of my senior year, right before I was about to go to the academy, which is one of the big reasons why I didn't want to go to the academy, because I was so caught up in this idea that I couldn't be I couldn't be a Division I football player and be gay at the same time. I couldn't be in the Air Force and be gay at the same time. I thought it was kind of like they're not mutually exclusive. It took me time to kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
But through that process, through coming up to my parents and whatnot, at the end of my senior year, I started to get a little bit more comfortable with who I was. And I came up to a few close friends my freshman year at the academy, and I just kept on, I guess as I kept on getting more and more comfortable, I kind of took that momentum and ran with it. And eventually, by the end of my freshman year, everybody knew that, or all the people that I was really close to and like I wanted to know from me knew. So at that point, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do this. When I was growing up, I didn't really have a role model to look up to that was like an openly gay athlete. I couldn't like pinpoint anybody where I was like, yeah, I want to be like him because he's doing this, that means I can do that. I didn't really have that, so I kind of wanted to be that example to a lot of the youth out there, because I know there are plenty of closeted gay athletes out there that think I can't do this because I'm gay, which like I believed it too, but like like you can do anything. Like it took me a really long time to figure that out, but you can. I thought I had to be closeted. I thought I had to be somebody I wasn't in order to play my dream sport and to live out my dream, but I didn't, and it was a really cool experience, and my team was very, very accepting of it.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, so the way I did it is I first went into my head coach's office and I sat down with him and I talked to him. I told him all about what I wanted to do, like what was on my mind. We kind of had a little heart to heart, and he was fully supporting me. He had my back through all of it, and from there, instead of like telling the entire team, because I don't know if a lot of you know how like college football teams work, but there were like 100 to 150 guys on our team, which is a lot of guys, and you don't actually get super close to all of them, so it's not like so you're really close to your position group, and I played defensive back at the Air Force Academy, so probably about 30 guys, and after a lift one day, I just kind of gathered them all in our meeting room, and I basically just told them up front, like, I'm gay, I'm about to come out publicly, I don't know like what's going to happen, but like I just wanted to let you guys know. And like, believe it or not, they actually started clapping.
Wow.
Which I'll always remember, and they were really cool about it. A couple of them cracking jokes and whatever, but it was really cool because it felt like a moment of acceptance, and I can point to that, like them making jokes and not being uncomfortable with it is just kind of like, it was a big thing for me to feel like I wasn't, like things weren't going to change, and they didn't at all, which was really cool.
That's so brave of you to do. Like I'm really happy that reaction was the way it was, obviously, and those are your teammates, so like that's how the reaction should have been, but like it could have gone very differently.
Oh yeah,
you know?
It absolutely could have gone a different way. And I am the biggest like overthinker. I overanalyze and overthink everything, so I'm like always thinking about the negatives and all the bad things that could happen from me doing anything. So for that to happen was just a very like, I know they always say it, like huge weight off the shoulders. Yeah, and I bet like you're always gonna remember that moment too. Yeah. Just like, wow, like that's reassuring that you can be both and do both and play your dream sport and also be gay. Yeah. Like, absolutely.
That's amazing. And so you kind of talked to me a little bit before about how all these offers came up overnight. Your phone was blowing up, Twitter, everything, and you obviously that's overwhelming. Yeah. But I guess why did you turn down a bunch of interviews and I guess not articles, but what else was being offered to you? Just interviews or?
Yeah, so there were a lot of people reaching out to me wanting to like write articles about me, get quotes from me. Okay. A few people reached out to me wanting to do podcasts, and then if Megan Kelly and Anderson Cooper asked me to be on their respective shows to kind of come on and talk about my experience and whatnot. My kind of whole thing with that was, it was preseason, so it was like summer going into like fall camp, and I did it for the purpose of like, I wanted people out there to know that you can do this, like you can be an openly gay person and still play football. Right. So that, like, I had already accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and by doing more, I guess I'm going to call it theatrics, I feel like I'm not really, it would kind of feel like I'm doing it for the attention, which was exactly what I'm not doing. Right. So I didn't want to take attention away from the team. I didn't want to like I didn't want to do any of that kind of stuff. I had accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and then it was time for me to focus on the team, and I wanted everything to be for them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you for telling your story and being so vulnerable on here. I guess it's been 2 years? About 2 years. So.
Yeah, July 27th, 2018 was the day I came out.
Wow. So thank you for because
Yeah.
I can't talk. I mean, I totally respect like that decision, and you accomplished your goal and stuff like that. But I also think part of your mission was to tell people when you were ready, that they can do both, and that message is so important for someone listening right now. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I feel a lot more comfortable and better talking about it now because I don't know if I said this before, but I had to stop playing football because of too many injuries. I had shoulder surgery my freshman year. I tore some ligaments, some tendons in my foot sophomore year, and I just kind of decided, like, with that partnered with like the 15 concussions I've probably had in my career.
15?
I'm just spitballing. 4 official.
Oh my gosh. Football's no joke, man.
I've been hitting the noggin a few times.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It doesn't show at all.
Yeah, you're like, I'm fine.
I'm really smart.
You're a behavioral science major, right? So,
yeah.
Wow. You were just like, all right, no more concussions. I bet your mom was like, no more.
Yeah.
No more football, no more concussions.
Yeah, I mean, that sigh of relief was definitely something my mom felt, because she was always the first one who was worried about me whenever it'd be like, I'm injured again.
Yeah, she's like, my son.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, to kind of transition, again, thank you for, telling that story and that what happened 2 years ago. But looking towards the future with this angelic voice of yours. So I kind of want to get into, what made you release that song a year ago? It was called Middle, or The Middle? The Middle.
Yeah.
So what is The Middle? What is it even about? And what was your process with releasing music? And were you working with Caleb at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
tell me about The Middle, the song.
Okay. Where do I start? So we wrote this. This was the only song we actually wrote while we were in the same place, which is kind of funny. So I was just visiting him in California. I spent some time in Los Angeles. I was just messing around, and then drove up to where he lives in kind of Santa Maria area. And we basically were just like, yeah, let's make something. And we didn't really have a plan for what we were wanting to do with it after we had finished it or whatever. But I think we were like, yeah, it'd be pretty cool to be on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. Just to be able to look and be like, yeah, I'm there. So from the technical standpoint, I think he just came up with a chord progression, and we kind of went from there. And we were like, what kind of vibe do we want to go with this? And we wanted to get kind of a summary song that's a chill song. And so I wrote the first half of it, I guess. And then we kind of saw a story developing from that, and we went from there. And basically the song, if you haven't heard it, definitely stream it, because
go check that out.
Definitely stream it on Spotify, Apple Music. That helps me. But the song is actually about, you'll hear it and it'll sound like two, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, two people singing to each other. But we like to take songs and I don't actually know how to explain this in a really clear way, but we basically take a story, we kind of put it on someone else. So kind of I don't know what the word for that is.
Collab, or what are you?
Sorry, I don't English good.
Don't English good well.
I don't English goodly.
So it was you were working with other artists?
No, it was okay.
It was just you two.
Sorry, I'm not explaining this very well. So
it's hard to explain a music process. I totally get that.
Okay, so the song The Middle is about a person. It's about two people that live very far away from each other, that are they're kind of stuck in the middle, they're far away.
Got it.
So the chorus goes, stuck in the middle, 1,000 miles ago till I reach the end. It's kind of you're far away from the person, you still love them and whatever, but it's life goes on even though you're far apart.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our story of me and Caleb as friends. Yes, me and Caleb are just friends. And it's kind of, we're putting that story into an actual romantic relationship, but from different perspectives, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That does make sense.
I'm not sure.
No, that was good. That's awesome. That's a really cool song concept. I really like that.
Yeah,
so
it was fun.
I guess like everyone's first song is important, you know, like that's like a big deal. You're releasing your art, you know, and your lyrics, and you're being vulnerable, and you're letting the world see, you know. So I haven't even listened to that yet. I need to listen to it.
It's my most popular song right now.
Hell yeah.
Well, it has the most streams. A song that I released it's July, 2 months ago, Broken Place. That one is definitely growing to be our biggest song. It's probably going to pass the middle in just like a week or so.
Okay. Go check it out.
So I don't know if you know how Spotify works, but like with their playlists and stuff like that, but they have Spotify curated playlists and stuff that you can submit to them when you submit the song, the finished product. And so Broken Place that we released in May actually made it onto a Spotify curated playlist with like 900,000 followers, which is pretty cool. So like we get a bunch of streams every single day. So we released it in May, and it almost it's like 500 streams shy of passing the middle.
Wow.
And the middle has forever had a bunch more streams than any other song we put out.
That's incredible. Yeah, I know about the whole like Spotify game type of thing, like getting on those playlists. It's huge. I have a lot of musician friends when like they get on a playlist, they'll text me and be like, I just got on this playlist. I'm like, yeah, congrats, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome though, congrats.
Thank you.
So I guess where do you want to see your music career go? What are your goals in the near future, and then late 20s, like what do you want from doing music? Obviously it's your passion. You always want to do your passion. Always do what you're passionate about, okay? But I guess what are some short-term goals and long-term goals?
Short-term goals, honestly, I just want to keep putting out music. For the short term, I want to be able to put out at least, if I had to put a number on it, like probably 5 or 6 more songs by the end of the year, hopefully. I think my end game with music, which I guess I don't want to say end game, but like I just want to be able to continue doing music. And if I can do that as a career, if I can do that full time and sustain like an actual living off of it, like that'd be the dream.
Hell yeah.
But as long as I continue doing it throughout my life, like I don't see why, like I'll be happy doing whatever if I'm doing anything in music.
Right.
But the next 6 years at the minimum will be occupied by the Air Force. So once I graduate, I'll commission as a second lieutenant, and then I'll owe at least 5 years back. So I'll continue doing music while I do my career in the Air Force. I can do those both at the same time. And then once I decide to get out of the Air Force, then I'll kind of fully dive into music if it's still something that I want to pursue as a primary career, I guess.
That's awesome. And I think that's really cool that you can do both, because I'm so against the idea that you have to have one career and one source of income and that's it and that's your life. And no, fuck that. Like you can do whatever you want to do. Don't let adulting ever get in the way of what you're passionate about. Like why? Like you have one life to live. Like why wouldn't you spend it doing things that you love to do?
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you are able to do both of that.
Thank you.
Some advice, I guess, you would give. First of all, what would you tell yourself a year ago about the person you are now and where you are musically with your career?
A year ago, let's see. I would tell myself I think a year ago I was in a place where I didn't really have a whole lot of direction as far as what I wanted to do with music. This was right before we released that song, so we were in the process of just starting to make the song or whatever. I think at that time I didn't know if I wanted to fully get into production, if I wanted to just focus on singing, do all of it, because I feel like at some point I was just kind of jack of all trades, master of none, that kind of thing. So I think for me, I would tell myself to kind of look inward and see, do I see myself as a producer? Do I see myself as a singer-songwriter? Do I see myself as this? And kind of focus in on one of those. And overall just continuing to work on singing, working on songwriting, because at the end of the day, if you put out good music, you're going to get noticed. So
True.
For me personally, I'm not going to be, if I make it onto any large scale scene music-wise, it's not going to be as a producer, it's going to be as a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
Which is why I am not super concerned with learning how to do the nitty-gritty stuff like mixing and mastering and whatnot. So since I figured that out, I'm kind of narrowing in on I need to continue to develop my voice. I need to get better control. I need like just the little stuff.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
focusing a lot on like just getting better at your craft and whatnot. Like if you're good, you'll get noticed. That kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think like with singing too, we were kind of like joking how like if you don't sing every day, at least once a day, you lose so much technique and muscle memory of, you know, like tone placement and stuff like that. So just like any singer-songwriter out there, just keep singing. Like I don't care if you're in the grocery store, like Caleb was in the hallway, like that's how he got noticed by you. If he wasn't doing that, if he wasn't just singing, you guys would have never probably met. So like, practice your craft every single day because that's how it's gonna get to where you want to be. Definitely. Okay, what would you tell someone who has a passion for music, but maybe they don't know how to play guitar, they don't know where to start? I think your story is very inspiring in this case because you didn't do music until you were, 16, 17? Like you didn't even
17,
open
18.
your voice to sing until that age. So that just goes to show, like, you may have a hidden talent. And how are you going to know if you're good at something or not if you don't even try it? So what would you tell someone who's just starting out in music? And we're both 21, so we're in our early 20s. We're still learning as we go. But someone could be starting their music career at 26, 27, listening to this and being like, you know what, I've always been passionate about music, but I've never tried it. What would you tell them? I'd
basically tell them the same thing I would tell myself. It's just, like, if you're really passionate about music, then, like, do the work, put in the time. Like, it takes a long time to get good at something, and, like, you can't just practice guitar, like, once a week and expect to be able to learn how to play, like, crazy songs. You gotta, like, you have to like actually set aside time every single day to like work on it. You have to,
even if it's like 15 minutes, like that's what I would say too.
Absolutely. Like
it doesn't matter the time limit, just do it.
Like I didn't know how to play guitar until 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and I play guitar on all of our tracks.
See, I was gonna ask you that too. Like, you were really good at guitar as well. So
I'm
like,
all right.
Was it self-taught as well as vocals, or?
Yeah, so it was partially self-taught, and then Caleb taught me a lot too. He taught me different like picking and strumming styles.
Okay.
Because I initially played, like I said, I learned how to play ukulele when I was like 17, and so I knew, like, I was familiar with like gripping an instrument like that, like placing my fingers on chords and whatnot. But I didn't really, like, guitar is a lot different than ukulele because it has 6 strings, and it's like the picking and the strumming style is very different. So like I said, like I knew how to do stuff like that, but I didn't know how to do that. So I taught myself a lot of that, and then Caleb kind of filled in some of the gaps.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think it's so cool that you had the discipline to sit down and teach yourself, 1, how to sing, 2, how to, do all of that with guitar. Like, that's how I know you're truly passionate about music, because some people, they're like, it's cool, I'll learn how to do it, but then it falls off and they're just not. But you stuck to it. Like, that's amazing. Whew, alrighty. That was a really good, all of it. I learned a lot about you, first of all. I think, you're a wonderful musician, wonderful human being. So thank you for being on the show. Will you sing for us a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Is there anything specific you wanted to?
So you just came out with a song. When was it released? Or?
It was end of June. It was like June 30th, I think. I came up with a song called it's called I'm Not Into Ladies.
Hell yeah.
It was kind of funny how this one came about because we were in the middle of writing a song for like 2 months, and we just kind of hit writer's block and like lost motivation for it. So we decided to start a new project as like kind of like to bust like the rut that we were in. And like I just like jokingly sang into a song, like was just singing to a track. I was like, I'm not into ladies.
Right.
And then Caleb's like, wait, that sounded good, record that. And I was like, oh shoot. And then I did it.
And that's such like, if I'm scrolling on Spotify, like that would stick out to me, you know what I mean? So cool. Can we hear a little bit of it?
Yeah, I'll play like a minute or so. Let's see. 24 in Santa Monica. Thought she had it figured out. I was 18, trying to keep my head on straight. All I did was think. I think she thinks I'm pretty. I think she wants to kiss me, oh no. But I'm not into ladies, yeah. Gotta pack up, leave home. I think I know how to feel. I know the means to my ends, but I'm running through my head and I ain't got no plan. But I know that shit probably doesn't make sense, yeah. But I think it does. But I think it does. 'Cause I'm running through my head and I ain't got no plan. But I know that shit probably doesn't make sense. But I think it does.
Woo! Do you guys know what I mean now about this angelic voice right here? I literally could listen to your voice all day. Like, I genuinely think I could. Amazing. All right, so we're going to stop this episode so we can do a cover of something really fast. Because I really want to sing with you. But, no, thank you again
thank you for having me.
Being on this and sharing your story. And I know that this is going to reach a lot of people and help a lot of people. And your story is very inspiring. So
thank you.
Thank you, Bradley, for being on the show. All right, so without further ado, also disclosure, Meredith is in Cincinnati. I should have said that at the very beginning.
Yeah, where you at, Meredith?
Where you at, Meredith? Got Bradley here. No, definitely you guys need to meet sometime because she's my best friend. So obviously, we'd all be cool. But yeah, Meredith is in Cincinnati, and this is a very impromptu episode. But she was like, go ahead, go do it, whatever. I'm like, cool, love you. All right, so without further ado, you may not have your shit figured out, but that's okay. This is your 20s. Hey, you killed that. Hell yeah. Oh.
I got sores all over my hands from CrossFit.
Oh, got it. Yeah, he's also a big CrossFit guy, so, don't mess with Bradley. Alrighty, we will see you next week. Thank you all for tuning in so much. Go ahead, give us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all of that. It means a lot to us.
Follow me on Instagram.
Oh,
Twitter.
yes. Can we plug you? Hold on. Whoa. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Listen, Bradley has a new song coming out. So by the time this episode is out, it'll already be streaming. Yeah. What's it called? It's called
Again.
So go get that, okay? You're missing out if you don't. And then follow, what's your Instagram?
At Bradley K. Kim.
Bradley.